How's it going, YouTube? We got ourselves yet another deck profile. The man's back on the channel because he's just too nice at Digimon. What did you play at the regional age?
Once again, I can only play decks 3 formats after their tier 1. Last time it was Alpha, this time we're on Cross Art.
Alrighty, run us through it.
Alright, from the bottom, working up like usual. No, I'm not playing Monimon. It Pikmons, it draws a card. Shout out to whoever did the craziest PR campaign this deck ever got. Whoever told people not killing Cross Art or killing Cross Art rookies was bad because they save. Shout out to that guy. I love drawing cards every turn because no one kills Sparrowmon. Speaking of Sparrowmon, let's talk about rookies and how good they are at punching people. 4 of Man with Microphone, 4 of Microphone Knife, 3 of Knife Guy, and 4 of the craziest bomb defusal bird you've ever seen in your entire life. Not a whole lot to say about the squad. Obviously, for Shoutmon, it's the most important inheritable, makes all your robots do their things, and also X7 superior mobile now. Sparrowmon is a 5k idiot, and it's the funniest thing in the goddamn world, watching her go absolutely sicko mode with it, checking security after security. Had a game against Beals where she checked, between three copies of Sparrowmons, they checked 2 of the Gaio forces in their security, bomb defusal bird, and then still on 4 Starmons, because Star Sword is Starmons and Shoutmon, but also this is an extra Shoutmon, and helps clear the board versus Red Hybrid. Games where you can Digicross this for 2 material and kill 2 rookies against Red Hybrid feel incredible. Good enough. Also, the funny running gag of this deck, unique set ID. But yeah, them's the rookies. No Ignite, because no Merva. If you play one, you play the other, but I'm not playing Merva. 4s. You ready for the most surprising numbers you've ever seen in your entire life? I play 4 Ballistamon and 4 Doralumon.
Wow!
Helps you not die to Red Hybrid. They will run out, because of Zenjiro and Ballistamon itself, they will run out of Burning Greymons before you run out of Ballistamons. So just kill them with surround sound. Impmon needs to die. He is very good at killing Impmon. What the dog doing? There's one other real level 4 in the deck. There is a single copy of King. Same thought as Star Sword. More copies of Shoutmon are good. This is more copies of Shoutmon. If you're making X3 early in the game, you don't really care if he gets Rushnauts. This is fine to use. And also hysterically, this is a 3 cost rush attack.
That is
very
fair.
silly.
I mean, it also brought back your...
It also recurs anything you need. It makes, you can add back any of the big robots, any of the medium-sized robots. It's a good card. Also, it's fusion substitute after it adds back. So this into X5 is usually going to be for 0 because you should be holding the rest of it. You do have to also still have a Shoutmon there, but again, fusion substitute, so it doesn't matter. These are the 4s. Is there another Cross Art level 4 that is relevant? No, I think everything here is normal. Don't play Cutemon. Alright. Put the Shoutmon on top, I guess. Robots. 3x3. As many x4s as they'll let you play. 2x5. Searcher critically finds blue flare cards as well, so that you can find the double agent. Lamau. 0 cost, 2 check asshole. So, X5 is really fucking annoying. Like, these two are obviously very good. This thing contests boards. If you give it Russian Piercing, it just swings over Red Hybrid idiots that they left on board, and then Doralumon clears out the rest of it. So they're very good at controlling the board early. X4 should not exist and probably should never have existed, but if it shows up, it shows up. Also, unique set ID. And then X5 is a 0 cost, 2 check, reboot, blocker, piercing, draw, rush, L plus ratio, plus the streets listen to Iron. Fuck, what is it? Whatever X5's theme music is. Because the concept for this deck is, if I move these guys out of the way to the next pieces, we are playing an X7 build, and X7 works best if you can make your opponent play the board with you. So you play enough of the bottom end to interact with their early stuff to make them come onto board with you, and then these are the robots that force them onto board with you. X3 scares people because it represents an extra memory, and X5 is, again, 2 check asshole. If they leave him on board, he clears 4 security. What the hell? So then we play the mandatory bricks to play X7. 2 Omni Shout. Digivolving into this and killing stuff is very funny. Everyone forgets it does that. Also treated as Shoutmon for Digicrosses exactly, so sometimes you get the elusive 2 check X3 if it lives a turn. Comedy. 2 of the double agent. Not cross art tagged.
Nope.
Not cross art tagged, but it's fine. Because you know who is cross art tagged? I can't do a profile without saying I fucking hate this card. So Quartz is a bitch, and I don't have a clean out to it. without the most insane setup in the world of just holding X7 in your hand, like the X7 and all materials, and just hard digicrossing from hand. So Shoutmon DX is a substitute for either of your two hardest pieces to find, usually Zeeg, and then the blocker doesn't really matter as long as he gets to kill something and then rush swing over something else. And then you're probably still in the game even through a Quartz. Also, it does have one niche application versus Quartz decks of if you can slam a Taiki for 3 and keep turn, then just make this, you can freeze the Quartz for a turn, which means at the next start of your turn you'll have a Taiki so you can digicross properly. It actually ended up winning me a game for my final round where I did just that. It wasn't a Quartz yet, but I popped an Omni Shoutmon, BT12 Hunter's Omni Shoutmon, and froze an Arrestradramon Superior mode, so it couldn't attack me twice per game, and when it evolved into Quartz, it couldn't even burn security to start stuff, which let me stabilize the game and then X7 Superior to clean up. Bastard card, fucking hate it, but I don't think I'd change it, it was good enough. Let's move some robots out of the way to make room for more robots, because it's the guy, it's the heart and soul. Shoutouts to Megazord. On 6 materials, it's a 16k asshole that deletes anything, pretty much anything in the format except for like War Greymons that are comically large, but the win condition for those is don't let them get there. And it is the funniest 2-check asshole. Any game where you get to make X7, keep turn, and check 2 security with it is pretty much auto 1. Because he comes down, he stabilizes the board by killing whatever the fuck's in your face, and then starts killing your opponent very, very quickly. Good card. Love robots. Speaking of robots, here's the biggest one. X7 Superior is your out to things that shouldn't be outable. It kills machines, it kills War Greymons, it kills everything. I don't think there's a card in the format that's relevant that doesn't die to X7 Superior right now. Obviously, if they Breath of Gods, but no one's playing Breath of Gods, so free win. Also, this card's a fucking rulings nightmare. We had to confirm with Head Judge at the start of the day of if you pick up a thing on board that has sources for the Digicross, and you're using the effect to cross from trash, the things underneath it are immediately able to be used as material. This ended up coming up and winning me a game by picking up DX and the 2 clowns underneath him to make an actual X7 Superior that was a blocker. Also, he's 17k in security. I'm not gonna lie.
Bad Gaia Forces.
Bad Gaia Forces, exactly. He's, I don't know. He's also very cool. Big ups robots. Yeah. But that's it for all the Digimon. Options. I didn't play any. Your Digimon are your options in this deck. If you're playing a more Merva Heart-centric build, then you want options and stuff because you need extenders to keep turn with Merva. But I'm not playing Merva, so I'm not playing Crushes or Blinding Rays. You just don't need them, they're too expensive. Did see a very funny thing where someone was playing a Wyvern's Breath as a read for EX1 Machine, or for people playing low counts of EX1 Machine. Very funny, don't think you need it. Onwards to the real actual options of the deck, Tamers. For Mr. Kudo, for his next trick, he will bot deck your Zeeg Greymon. For 3 of the Trio Tamer, Solo's Machinedramon. They pop 3 cost or less Tamers. This one sure does say 4. And then as far as the Doraloon Ballista Tamers, I was on 4 too. The idea was I need to stabilize versus Red Hybrid faster, and the more copies of Ballistamon I'm allowed to play, the better. So we went with 4 Zenjiro and then only 2 Akari because killing Impmon was difficult. With low counts of Akari, but you can still do it in other ways with Star Sword or just hard playing the Doraloo itself and just accepting it, because that deck really can't make damage out of thin air. A thing that I learned in a very funny way during the day. So you don't need as many ways to draw cards. Also, Akari's card draw is less important when you have the Trio Tamer just cycling you 1 card deeper every single turn. But yeah. That's it for the deck. Matchups?
Yeah, we're going matchups and then changes.
Round 1 was against Bagra Hunters. Irony. Except I got quartzed 4 times in 2 games, where, again, hold the X7 in hand, kill the first quartz, and then he just made a second one both games, so I'm like, okay, well, you know what, they wanted it more, such is life. Round 2 was versus Setcon, and admittedly, you think this is how you win a Setcon matchup? You know, the no flipping options and security, wow. They're playing a lot of really big single target removals, so if you just throw a lot of guys at them, the security bombs don't work, so you just win. Round 3 was Red Hybrid, and it was a very close game. I kind of got a little unlucky where situations that should have been under control were invalidated by Takuyu's materializing from security. It is what it is. Round 4 was versus Imperial, who is a self-admitted new player whose round 1 was a no-show, which is how he was 1-2. We take those. Round 5 was Hunters. This time I outed the courts and there was no second one. Nice. Then 6 was Beals, which was a very scary matchup, but again the same concept of doesn't have a way to materialize damage out of thin air. So willingly passing them 8 to clear the board in its entirety when they have no body. Shoutouts to 8 cost X7, gotta be the thing that killed a Beelzemon and not got me killed instantly, is enough to not die and barely living. And then last round was against Hunters again, and once again, if they only quartz you once, you can play through it. And I only got quartzed once per game instead of twice per game, so you can play through these things.
Shout out to DX.
Shout out to Shoutmon DX, actually freezing fucking Quartzmon. I hate this fucking card. I hate this fucking card.
Right, since you hate him, what changes have you made since the event?
Well, it's not Shoutmon DX, funny enough. I still think he's good enough. No, the only change I would make to this deck is one of the issues that this list had that I kept noticing throughout the day was outing quartz when you're choked is really fucking difficult. So obviously the trio tamer can set you to 3, but you want a little bit more than that. Also, cards going under the trio under quartz are effectively lost material because you have no way to digicross. So the one change I would make to this list, and that I'm trying out and testing now, is flipping one of the Zenjuros over as a BT10 Kyria, the Blue Flare Mensetter, because he's affected digicross, costs 4 so Machine can't kill it for free, and also they can't, Blackwell Greymon can't kill it for like the combined 6 on BT8 Blackwell Grey. But also, funnier is that he's Blue Flare tagged, because of course he is, he's the Blue Flare guy, which means X3 can find him.
Right.
So he's like a nice little mixture of effects that I would like to have on a card, as well as a way to stop being choked at low degree so often. Other than that, I don't think there's many changes I would make. A lot of the base of this list was stolen from... Oh, I should have looked this up before we started recording. There was a regional second place Crossheart list at an event, I want to say 2 weeks back now, and a lot of the heavy lifting for the theory was done from them. I just kind of copied their homework and made it worse by putting DX in.
Alright.
Yeah, that's Crossheart.
W, where is it you placed in the end?
I was 34th.
34th, the bubble.
34th on the bubble, highest place in Crossheart list, because again...
Highest place in Crossheart list.
Highest place in Crossheart list, because once again, if you need someone to play an archetype 3 formats after it's tier 1, I got you.
Alright, well, look forward to seeing you playing Relevant soon in BT30. Relevant on time?
Is Alphamon relevant?
I don't know, you'll make him
Let's find
relevant.
out. I will make him relevant.
Anyways, cheers H.